What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mad Conversations. I'm Meochia, and this is my daughter.
The shade.
The reason that we decided to
Hello.
start, hi. The reason that we decided to start Mad Conversations is because we felt like there needed to be some type of forum to help mothers and daughters find a better way to basically strengthen their relationships. And we know that there's so many different components to mother-daughter relationships. Some of us feel like we can't get it right. When we find out we're having a girl, we're like, but I think that having a girl is one of the most beautiful things in the world. And we just, through experience and wisdom, want to show you all some of the tips that we learned to kind of keep our relationship going through the ups and the downs. And hopefully, we can just help you with yours coming from a mother perspective and also coming from a daughter's perspective.
Yes. This has been a long time coming, and we feel like we've had enough experience. I've been employing her as a mother for the past 26 years. So we're just about to run through this stuff and basically talk about better ways to strengthen communication in a relationship.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
a relationship without communication?
Oh, yeah. But wait, this is the longest job I have ever had. And the only one that I haven't been, well, one of the ones that I haven't been fired from.
She can't get fired.
I can't get fired. She'd be like, "You're fired."
Mhm.
Okay, so just bear with us. And in a moment, we are going to start our presentation. And we just want to thank you all for coming. And feel free to use the chat buttons on the side if you have any questions or comments. And then when the presentation is over, we would like for you to just kind of chime in. If you have any questions, we're open book. Just let us know. And thank you for coming because it's not easy to admit, sometimes that the relationship uh, can be stronger. So that's hard to communicate sometimes. And believe me, we understand. All right. So do we need to say who we are? Are we good? Is that good enough?
We said who we are.
That's good enough.
If they don't know, they're gonna find out.
Okay. Let's see. Let me know if you all have the screen up. Can you all see that screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Can you see it, Monique? Uh-oh. I have them both on mute. Monique, give me a thumbs
Yeah,
up.
I can see it.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
see it.
So we wanted to first start off by giving you the three starters for every MAD relationship. And what we call MAD is mother and daughter relationships. Um, you can't make a great relationship without having all of the proper ingredients for getting one started. So we decided to come up with just three things that we thought were the most important. The first one is honesty, because it's so hard to be open with your daughter or even with your mom about different things going on inside of your life. I know for us mothers, it's hard for us to be honest because we don't want you to look at us differently. And then what do you think for daughters?
For daughters, sometimes it's hard being honest because you don't want to get the feedback from your mom, especially when you know you already have it set in your heart and your mind what you want to do and what you're gonna do. So sometimes you just don't want to tell her the truth because you're not trying to, break her heart. Nobody wants to do
Oh, the heartbreak.
that. Hmm.
The next one is vulnerability. Vulnerability is very important because I think daughters need to know that you have gone through some things too, and it's not you just talking out of the side of your neck. So they need to see you in these real life situations. I think so many times as daughters, we think that our moms are perfect. And the minute we find out that they're human, sometimes it's like, oh my God. But other times it's like, man, all right, she do know.
Hmm.
And who better to get advice from?
Exactly.
So, yes, vulnerability. And then the last one is trust. It's important that you develop trust because for some odd reason, we think that trust is something that's automatically there, but anything can happen. And it starts very young that can start deteriorating the trust inside of a relationship for a mother and a daughter. And it's just as important for the daughters to be able to trust their moms as it is for moms to be able to trust their daughters. So you have to be honest, you got to be vulnerable, and you got to be trustworthy because how can you ask me to have your back if you're not coming with the truth? That's hard. So I'm sitting up here fighting a battle when you already know. And we have had our days where I went to the colleges fighting a battle and all of the information was not accurate. Whew. Trust. Honesty, vulnerability. Okay. So this next section has to do with communicating. What are you really trying to say? Because sometimes it's hard for us to be able to get it out. And so what we do is we end up acting out things through emotions. So when I have situations with my daughter, when I'm trying to say that I'm sorry, sometimes it's best to just say it instead of just buying her things. I need to communicate. I have to say when I'm disappointed. I gotta let her know I can't be slamming dishes through the house. I'm not talking to her. If I'm hurting, I need to say that instead of avoiding eye contact or just not talking to her at all. And sometimes she needs to see me cry.
Same thing here. When it's I'm sorry, instead of avoiding conversation with your mom or not responding back to those text messages or just anything to try to get out of that situation, just be bold and speak up. You can, daughters often, we too get disappointed with our mothers. So with your mom, it's just like, man, mom, when this happened, I didn't see you that way because those are the women that you think are the most upstanding women that you know. So when she does something that is not of her, you have every right to talk to her about it. Same thing,
Not
her
confront,
not confront,
maybe
but
ask
sit down
questions.
and talk about it. Be like, man, ma, like, why did you do that? Or why did you let this person treat you this way? And that's not like you. So are you okay? When you're hurting, I know with me personally, and when I hurt, I shut down. I don't want to talk to my mom. I'm not trying to get like any type of sympathy or reaction mainly. So therefore, I close up because I'm just like, oh man, like this hurt too bad. I don't want a mom story right now or that mom comfort like, oh, everything's gonna be okay. Sometimes you just want to sit in that, but it's just like no, like let's talk about it. And especially if it's your mom, the one that's causing it,
Yeah.
just talk about it and let her know.
And it's important that you allow your mom in to talk about it because we don't want you to sit in the hurt for so long. It's so funny when we even talk about addictive relationships, addictive behaviors, even abuse. It's so funny that people actually get addicted to abuse. And so they get into a mode of sitting in it and they think that that's okay. They want to be sad. They want to, and you cannot sit there for too long. The Bible said there's a time and a season for everything. You have to know when to mourn and when to come up out of it because if not, you'll get stuck there. And so sometimes it's just basically us helping you not to be stuck there. It's all right to fuss about it and cry about it and scream about it for a moment, but then you got to get up and you got to get to moving. Sometimes it's I'm ashamed. Um, how do we express that? I'm ashamed, man. I don't want you to know what I did. I feel so bad about it. But you have to know that no matter what it is that you've done, I want to be there for you. I don't care if I'm upset about it for a moment. I want to be there for you. No matter how upset you think your mom might be about what you did, you need her. Friends, I mean, they come and they go. Some of them are here for a lifetime, but mom is the one you should be able to express all that stuff to. She might not want to hear it, but she might need to hear it. Even when you're scared, you'll be surprised at when you open up and you're vulnerable again, how much it allows your mom the opportunity to open up and how much strength you pull from her. Shay's probably heard some of my best and some of my worst. But I learned from my mother. I said, I'd rather you hear from me than to hear it on the street. So it is what it is. Not for you to repeat, but for you to do better.
Right. And the same thing too with daughters, when we get scared, we have the ability to either lash out or, close completely up or run off and do something else crazy because we're scared to come and talk to our moms. And a lot of the times it's because of that perceptions. You have your mom who can just be like, man, like, look, I'm not trying to hear that. For some of y'all, we got mamas that just don't play. So if you are scared, it's hard to come and engage a person like that.
But you have to. It's so important that you do, even if you're embarrassed. And you're gonna get fussed at. Sometimes you just don't want to be held accountable. Let's be honest. Sometimes you done did something Grammy or somebody done did something Grammy to you, but you don't want to be out of it yet. So since you don't want to finish it yet, you don't want to talk about it. But somebody has to hold you accountable. It's important. Just like you all hold us accountable and have expectations for us, we have the same thing for you. So the last thing I thought it was so cute Deshay put up was I miss you. How many of us are that when you just picking with your mama? You just bothering her, calling her, being annoying.
Yeah, or you got the mamas too that reach out to you like, I know my mama, I can be in the next room and she'd be like, oh, I miss you. Let's go drive this. We need a trip here. We need. And I'm just like, huh. But the real thing is like, she miss you. I know it's kind of hard because with me, I'm the type of person I'll say I love you. Cricket did not say I miss you. I don't know what that's about, but maybe because it makes me feel too vulnerable. So I might just come around or I'll be like, Ma, can you cook this and make that? So it's just finding different cues and all of these things to sit there and try to figure out what's being communicated because it's hard to say I'm sorry or I'm disappointed, I'm hurting, I'm ashamed, I'm scared or embarrassed and I miss you because a lot of that stuff, you're really opening yourself up. You don't know what the response is going to be.
Yeah.
So we really want to work on with these strengthening communication skills, just ways to get around all of that so that you can open up and have the best relationship because you should be able to tell, if not anyone, your mom, any of these statements, and you should be able to talk through it.
Yeah, and if you can do these things with in a relationship with a complete stranger that you may one day build the rest of your life with, then you definitely should be able to do it with your mom. And some moms are a little bit older or come from different generations and different cultures where they don't do that. They don't open up, they don't talk, or they don't know how to. That's the thing, they don't know how to. And you have to help them to understand that that is the culture, that is their relationship that may have been have you erased, but this is our relationship and this is what I would like from you. And you have to be able to communicate and articulate that to her. It's so important. You need to, this is what I need. This is what we need to make our relationship grow. And you should be able to do that without feeling scared. I think that's very important. So I tell my daughter all the time, you have to show people how to love you. And that's even with your mom. Sometimes you got to show your mom how to love you, and she has to show you, and you got to be able to listen to her, just like her to you, and hear those cues again. So is she not listening, or is she not talking? Why? Why isn't she listening, or why is she talking? What's going on? These are some more things to help you kind of get through. Okay, so reasons we don't listen. This can go for mothers and for daughters. This is a good one. I'm not ready to deal with this right now. How many of you dealt with that with your mama? Where she just kind of, look, Monique, don't come to me with that right now. I ain't trying to deal with that. I got a lot of stuff going on. So how do you get past that with your mom? You say, okay, mom, I understand that you don't have time to deal with it now, but can you tell me when? Let's put some time on the calendar where we can sit down and talk about it because I need to talk about it. And then I know you don't want me going to somebody else. I know you don't want me going to grandma.
Yeah. And I can say that too. Like I've experienced that because even now, with the way that we work is so different. My mom is more of an entrepreneur, so she has a schedule that's so much more open, and she can make it whatever she want to make it. Granted, with the other trades and things that she has going on, and me, I kind of like to stick to my schedule. I'm like, I go to work, come home, and then it's just like, hey, Deshae, this, and that, and I'd be like, and in a sense, I'm kind of an introvert in certain ways too. But I'm just like, you know what? Like, let me, and you even come to me like, hey, let's calendarize it. Let's do this. And it'll hold me accountable. So, yeah. And then, but not only with the time thing though, sometimes you're not ready to deal with the truth of the situation of what may be going on as well. So get comfortable.
And that's one of those I don't know how to handle this type thing. You come to your mom with something and she just blank. And you like, wait a minute, I just poured my heart out to you and you haven't said nothing. Are you hearing me? Do you hear what I'm saying to you? Yeah, she hear you. She just don't know how to deal with it. Maybe she's never come across anything like that before in her life. Maybe she's just kind of she just need a moment to just kind of get through it, or she just don't have the answers, right? And so some people, instead of them hitting their head on, or opening their mouth and say, I don't know, what they do is they shut down. So one of the ways to handle this is to find someone or something else that can help you, whether it's resources, going to the library, doing some research, talking to a counselor. I mean, we're kind of huge on that in our family about, going to seek out therapy. And I've learned a lot of things from my daughter. I think in college it was when Deshae decided to go and see a therapist, and she told me about this great experience that she had. So years later, she was recommended to me like, Ma, I think you need to go and see a therapist. I'm like, kind of skeptical about that. And I'm like, well, man, I do remember when she's like, Ma, it helped me so much. You should try. And that helped me. It helped me be more open to therapy.
Yeah.
You know.
And not only that, with having understanding that your mom may have not experienced some of the things that you went through. The upbringing is definitely different. And, most of us, it's a bit of an age gap there. So sometimes ways that we're coming up in current times, they may not be able to necessarily understand. However, it can be some wisdom there. So being patient with your mother too, knowing that and not discounting her because she doesn't know how to handle this. But sometimes it's great, even if you have that mutual person to go and talk to, bring your mom along and just ask her to be open, hearing a different perspective with you. That way, when things do come up, she may not fully understand, but at least she can see from somebody who may be a peer of hers how to communicate with you on the issue.
Yeah, and letting her know that it's nothing against her, it's nothing that she did wrong. Because a lot of times moms, we like to internalize stuff. Oh my God, did I do a good job? Did I fail my daughter? My daughter, and it's not that. Sometimes it's just things that she just doesn't know. So you have to be careful in how you handle her. It's just like you got feelings, she got feelings too, you know. So be gentle. Um,
I have too much going on in my life.
that's
Lord.
another one of those things that we can do as mothers and daughters because we don't want to deal with something right now. Oh, I'm busy. I'm busy. Not all this stuff, all you and your drama, because it's
Right.
mamas. I know there's mamas that bring drama, but there's especially when you're dealing with moms in abusive situations or you're dealing with single moms. They be having their own stuff all compiled up, and then here you come with your stuff, and they just don't have time for the
Yeah,
drama.
or you can be in one of those situations where there is a multitude of siblings. And it's just like, man, it's like you may feel like your mom is giving more attention to your older sibling or your younger sibling more than chances than they're giving attention to you, or
Or
maybe
even
you
your
got a lot of
father.
brothers, or yeah, even your father. So, but also as daughters, we have to be careful with that because coming of age, you go from being your mother's baby to your mother's teenager, and now here it is, you're a young adult living your life. So, making that time and being intentional about that time to sit there and listen and even get advice from your mom when she offers it.
Yeah. So this is one of those things again where you fit it somewhere in your schedule. If it's your mom that keeps on, and she on you, and you like, oh mom, I'm too busy. I got this new guy, blah blah blah. I'm trying to live my life. Take that time out. Schedule a date with your mom. That would be so fun. Fit her somewhere in your schedule. She has to take a part of it. She is responsible for you being here. And she loves you just as much as you love her. So pick that time out. If you want some time with mom and say, hey mom, come on, let me take you out. Just me and you. Find something that she likes doing. Because this is another way, again, to get to know her and for her to get to know you. Make sure you do that. It's so important. Um, Woo, this is a big one for moms. I'm scared about how this makes me feel. Again, some mothers come from generations and they come from cultures where they do not talk about their feelings. Their mom didn't talk about their feelings. Grandma didn't talk about her feelings. It was like my mother, and my mother was kind of like, shut up. And when my mom said shut up, that was it. There was no more talking. My mother was open about certain things, but other things my mom just didn't play. And a lot of it had to do, and when I start, especially talking about things within our relationship, my mother automatically shut up. She don't want to hear it. And so it's a shutdown. And the reason that she don't want to hear it is because she's scared. Another vulnerable time for her. And then seeing my mom do that, I made sure that it was different with her. You got to hit those vulnerable times head on. At times that you are scared, that's when you should be pushing even more to get it out.
Yeah, and even from the receiving end, as a daughter, receiving this stuff from your mother. Not only are you scared of once you let it out, how it makes you feel, but it's just like, what's that response going to be from your mother afterwards? Are you worried about her being embarrassed because of whatever it is that she just heard from you, or ashamed or something like that? So, yeah, just
So
kind of
it's coming from both ends, right?
hmm
So it's easier when you all kind of go through it together, those uncomfortable things, those scary things, those feelings and emotions that I've probably never had before. What does this mean for our relationship? It's easier to go through them together. And here's the other one. It hurts too much. When we start talking to our moms, and I could even say it for my daughter because my daughter, I was single up until my daughter was, we got married when she was 14, but I was single for a while till she was 14. So she saw some things, and even though I thought that I was doing everything right, I was not doing everything right. And that hurts when your daughter comes back and she tells you, oh, well, I remember this. I remember that again. It's a moment to be vulnerable. And it's like, oh man. Or she tells me that something happened to her. No matter how much I tried to protect her, there were some things that happened that I didn't have any control over. Some mothers, they don't want to talk about it. They want to shut down, leave the conversation right there. But you cannot allow them to leave it there. Even with daughters who have been through things, Mama, I don't want to talk about it. You know, you angry with her, you upset with her, but you don't want her to bring it up. You just want to let it go. But it's still living with you. You're still hurting inside. You're still blaming her. You can't move forward. It's important at times like that where you gotta open up because that's the only way that you'll get released. You know, and mothers gotta face some things like, man, I could have done that better. You know, that's why when they get to their grandkids, they're so excited. Oh, I got a grandbaby. But it's like, whoo, I ain't got to deal with that. And the mistakes you made, that kind of gives you an opportunity to patch it up. But you should be patching it up with your daughter and with your mom. So yeah, hearing it is the only way to get released. So even with you all, when you're dealing with relationships with other people, um, sometimes you gotta talk about it to get past it, even when it hurts. Even when you say, I'm done with that person, you gotta have that uncomfortable conversation so that you can move forward. And a lot of that is steeped in forgiveness too. We got a bunny in our yard. Oh.
If y'all seen us, I do not find bunnies fascinating anymore. That bunny is looking dead at us.
So our next section is not talking.
Ooh, why aren't they talking to me? I don't want to disappoint you. Uh,
That's
yeah.
a good one. That's probably a good one for our daughters when it comes
Yeah.
to avoiding.
I mean, like I know with me, most people know that I love and respect not only my mom, but just the relationship with my parents, both my mom and dad, so much. So therefore, it may be something that I may have done that may have been outlandish and all of that stuff. So I won't communicate, and they'll be looking at me like, like what's going on with you? You were just fine. Now you're not talking to us. I'm just like because I just did what I did, or I go to them about advice with stuff, and it'd be because I did something crazy. But my thing is really like fear of disappointment. So it's like I know that y'all put me on a pedestal because I put y'all on a pedestal. So I'm just gonna shut up and go do my dirt over here in the corner.
Oh, that was good. That summed it up.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is communicating love regardless, and that's one of the things that we try to impress upon her. Believe me, I've had gazillions of conversations with Shay, and I'm like, "Hello, is this thing on?" And I just to help her to understand that one, you can trust me, and yes, I might be disappointed in you. Yes, I might get upset with you, but I still love you. We still love you. So no matter what it is, know that you can come to me. And that's important for you all to know that, but that's also important for us to know that because parents get divorced. Parents have arguments. Parents have things that happen inside of their life that you don't understand. But just remember, I think adults ain't nothing but grown kids. So communicate love regardless. Yeah, I'm upset. I'm disappointed, but I still love you. I don't see how you can help me. So what are some of the things that you do in situations where you feel like, oh man, I'm just in this mom and them can't do nothing for me?
Well, when I get like that, I go to God.
No, I mean, how do you what when you stop talking? Like if you're not talking at that point because you feel like I can't help you with it, what are some cues or things that you do?
Oh, some cues that I do. I don't know. Sometimes with me, I'll go and research some other ways to say things.
Mhm.
So if I'm going through it, I'll find a way to talk about it through that and just be like, hey, when this and that, I don't even hypothetical it. Like, hey, I got a friend that may be going, no, just keep it far away from me. I'll just be like, hey, I'm dealing with this issue.
I've learned since she was little when she started doing that 9 times out of 10, it's really about her.
Yeah, I mean, like a recent one for me, well, not too recent, but I'd be like, hey, I'm struggling with issues of lust and all of this stuff, not telling my parents all the stuff that I was doing, but I was just like, man, how do people go through and deal with lust? What does it say in the Bible about this? How do you get over that? How do I pray that off me? So it'd just be like my way of talking about it, but not necessarily talking about
Yeah,
it.
she found a smart way to do it. We was at church. We was at
It
church
take a
doing
lot.
confession, but it was good though because not only did she have us to pray for her, she had other people to pray with her. And when she came home, me and my husband, we sat down. And we talked to you individually, and then we talked to her together. Um, sharing even our own experiences with her, because that's important for you all to understand again that we are human. There isn't anything that we cannot help you with. We just have to go through it together, even if it's something new to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something too that, it'd be awesome if mothers were more vulnerable in that area and just letting us know, like, hey, this is what's going on with me. And sometimes it may not necessarily be a situation, but spending that one-on-one time, bringing up a story randomly to your daughter. I know my mom, she's a storyteller, so I always get some piece of whatever going on. But that helps, or just finding out ways to bring that stuff out of your mom. Just be like, hey, mom, what did you used to do whenever you're curious about anything? Just find a way to ask that.
Yeah, I probably tell a little bit too much. But even for me, when I feel like, Deshae can't help me through something, sometimes I'll just kind of avoid her and go off to myself. And I get real quiet. When I get quiet, everybody in the house knows something must be wrong. That's because I am doing the same thing, trying to go and figure some things out. But if she comes and she presses, I will talk, because believe it or not, you all have more wisdom than you know. We learn again so much from you. Um, you have your own problems, right? That's one of the reasons why we don't talk to each other, because we feel like, oh, you're going through your own thing. You don't want to hear this. Like, me even now going through this with Deshae moving out on her own. If there's something that's bothering me, I'm kind of like, oh, well, I don't want to disturb her, because she's a young professional. She's trying to do this and that. The last thing that she wants to hear is mom. But you know, she wants to talk. She wants to hear these things. So when it's situations like that, you can work on one thing at a time. Work on one thing at a time instead of trying to figure everything all out at once. Did this thing just cut off my presentation?
They're trying to make that food.
Okay, can you all still see the presentation up there? Is my bill thing up here?
Yes, I still see it.
The presentation?
No, not presentation. Presentation went off.
Okay, there we go.
This,
okay. So is that what we were on?
You have your own problems. So,
Yeah, so just working on things one thing at a time instead of just trying to figure out everything at once, right? And then that way it gives her an opportunity or me an opportunity to actually work out whatever things that I'm going through, but also, slowly but intentionally help you bit by bit with what it is that you're going through. Remember, never being too busy for each other.
exactly.
Here's another one. It doesn't seem like
I was
you
gonna say
care.
that.
Oh,
I was gonna say that.
I'm sorry.
Girl,
Go
she's
ahead.
so used to doing this radio. I'm in here now. All right. But yeah, some reason for talking is it don't seem like, your mom may care, or it doesn't seem like your daughter may care, just like my mom was saying, with me. She'd be like, I talked to you a million times, so I'm blue in the face. Do you take in anything? I know I'm a respectful listener.
Oh, I hate that. I'm like, don't be a
I'm sitting
polite.
there like,
I hate polite listening.
but
Polite
believe it or
listening is
not,
you going like this and not interrupting me, but really you go in your mind because you got in your mind what you want to do.
yeah,
Oh,
but believe it or not, like I do listen. I just may not want to listen at the moment. But the same thing though too. Like I've had friends who they don't talk to their mom because they feel like their mom is not interested in the things that they have going on or the issues. Because believe it or not, some of us we may surpass our moms. In the levels that we are in life. Some of our moms may have had us young and may have been married younger and all that stuff, and they may be looking like, okay, you don't got no kids, you're not married right now. So like, what's wrong with you? How can I help you? Or some people, it might be the exact opposite. You may have a child. You may not. You may be married and all that stuff, and your mom may not be in that predicament. So therefore, she'd be like, okay, what do I need to talk to you for? You might have it all together, or you're the strong one.
So that's why it's important during those times to be vulnerable, and give your undivided attention to let them know that, yes, I do care. Don't get distracted with other stuff. Oh, which one are we on? Yeah, it doesn't seem like you care, right? Yeah, don't get distracted with other stuff saying, oh, I got to do this, oh, I got to do that. When you make that time for your mom, when you make that time for your daughter, it's important that you give each other the undivided attention that you need. Because if you're not talking to me, you could be talking to anybody, and I don't know what advice anybody else is giving you.
Yeah.
And here's the other one. We're not talking because we ain't cool like that. Woo! You all should be cool like that. We might not be bosom buddies. Come on, let's go hang out at the club. But we should be cool like that, where you should be willing to talk to me. And if we aren't cool like that, where you feel like you can open up and talk to me, then we need to figure out what we're wrong inside of our relationship,
Yeah.
and we need to fix it.
And let's make this clear, even with us doing mad combos, it's not about turning your mother to your best friend. Some people, I mean, if that happens, then that is a wonderful, luxurious thing. Most people say that don't happen until you have kids or something like that.
I told her
But,
we friends when you
but a
move
lot-
out of my house.
Right, but
Right now, you my daughter.
and we still got to check that one out. But no, but it's
Yeah.
just like, but that's your mom. So ways to get past not talking in those situations is bring up a situation where you felt like made you not want to talk to your mom or not trust your mom to open up, and basically talk about why it changed that relationship, and mother be willing to take that on and hear her out, because you'll be surprised, even if it's something that's not that major to you, it's big to us.
Yeah, it's good. What would make communication easier? Getting to know each other better, being open and honest. Stop being so serious. How many moms are like that? They're just so serious. And all of us have different personalities. Some of us can't even help ourselves, but you can't take everything seriously. But sometimes when there's a lot of emotion involved and a lot of hurt involved, it's easy to take things serious. So you got to dig deeper in those layers of being willing to dig deeper in those layers to find out what is really going on inside those relationships. And stop being so perfect.
Oh, like them holier than thou mamas.
Yeah,
They
those
just
moms. Oh, well, me, I never did that. And me, knowing you was the one, or maybe you weren't, or maybe you weren't. But that doesn't mean. First of all, the devil is busy. So for the perfect ones, he really waiting to attack your children.
Yeah.
You know.
And same thing for the daughters too.
Yeah.
You don't got to be so perfect for your mom
Yeah.
to accept you. You know, it shouldn't have to be that way. And if you feel like it is being that way, you end up causing more stress on yourself in the long run. So it's okay to be imperfect. And,
Yeah.
you know, just let your guard down.
Because your mom is not perfect. And if you think that you're perfect, where are your expectations at for everybody else? It doesn't allow anybody room to make mistakes, grow, or even want to communicate. So, and the next thing is recognizing that we are different. She is her own person. I am my own person. What may have worked for me may not work for her. Some things are just the same, and we always want to be different. Sometimes the outcomes can be the same, but it doesn't mean that we are the same. And we got to respect that about each other. That's important. I'm not looking for a miniature me. I have one though.
But then sometimes too, like it can be difficult for moms. Like I know I've experienced that with us. So my mom would be like, "Oh Lord, this gonna happen. That's gonna happen." And like, you know, you and your college story and how you had me. So I was determined. I was like, Lord, like, let me make it out of college.
But that's why I was so open with her. My mom didn't make it out of high school.
But still, I was like, it's okay. It's all right.
But still, I needed to, it could be, but I needed to talk about that. But what I tried not to do was impose my life on her. And what I tried to do was, hey, this and that is what happened. I needed to be open and I needed to be honest with her to avoid the situation. And recognize that we are alike in some ways. So however you were feeling as a mom when you were younger, guess what? She got feelings too. She has those same emotions. You like somebody, she likes somebody too. You thought somebody was fine, she thinks somebody's fine too. There's times when she feels insecure, times when she feels scared. You felt those too. So you need to tap into those, and that helps you with vulnerability. Materials to start building. This is the last slide inside of our presentation. When we finish this, we're going to click over to the next meeting, so the same passcode and everything, so that we can have some Q&A from you all. So make a mad commitment to strength. The first thing is to acknowledge that you both want change. That's so important.
Yeah.
You think we can have a better relationship, Mom? Yes. I want us to have a better relationship. So it starts here. We are going to strive for that. And no matter how many times you fail, keep trying.
Find some commonality. So find some things that you do have in common about each other. And sometimes these things can make you butt heads, but if it is, it's better to point it out now than, assuming or going back to your friends like we just alike in this area.
Yeah, or use those things that you have in common to your advantage. Maybe
Yeah.
both of you like playing golf. Maybe both of you like watching movies, working from the inside out. Set up a mad date with those things that you like. Both of you like working out. Go work out together, or get a private instructor, or watch a video of working out and do it together. Even if you all live separately, set up a Zoom call or something. Mad dates are super duper fun. Me and her go on dates all the time. Come bearing gifts. Now, that doesn't mean you have to go and get anything expensive, but learn your mom's love language and your
Gifts.
daughter's love language and get gifts. I mean, whatever the gift is, whether it's poetry, whether it's sweet words, whether it's a nice conversation.
Make sure you find out specifically what your mama like. This one over here, she's alive.
We got 1 minute left. Shut up.
Okay.
And face the boogeyman together. Whatever fears it is that you have, whatever is scaring you from moving forward, face it together. And the last one is try again and again until forever to make your relationship and your communication even stronger. If you fail, you get back up and you try again because you are so worth it. Okay, we'll see you all over at the next meeting so that we can have a Q&A.
All right. Thanks for joining Mad Convo.
With your girl, Meochia.
And Disha. Ooh, we put the M&D in Mad.
That's right. You did that.
What to say right here?